thank you for spending your time, Bruno.
Oh, you're so welcome.
I already had a few questions for you. Are you ready?
I am.
First of all, congrats on your new album, To Let a Good Thing Die, that just released on 5th June. Can you tell us the most memorable moment you had while making this album?
The most memorable moment I had whilst making the album? Tough question. I think the day that it was finished. So when you finish the album, you make it, you write all the songs, and then you have to go and get them mastered. So that means you go to a studio and they put it all together and they make sure they're all the right volume, and you decide on the final order of the album, and then you literally walk out the studio and it's like, I finished, my album's done, and it's the best feeling in the whole world. So I think that moment.
In your opinion, what's the difference between your new album with the previous one?
This time I gave myself as much time as I needed to finish it. With the first album, I wrote and recorded and released the song every month for a year. So it was very very fast paced. Whereas with this one, I gave myself 18 months, 2 years to do it, and so it was a little bit easier in that sense. Also, I'm a bit older and a bit more confident in myself now, and I think I'm a bit more confident in my music as well, and hopefully that comes across.
If you could describe your new album in 5 words, what it would be?
Okay. Honest, warm, soft, short, quite a short album, and jazz.
Oh, okay.
That was hard.
Okay, Kaliano, it's your turn to ask a couple questions for me.
I actually have a few questions for you. So, as someone who listens to your song a lot, personally for someone who inspects your lyrics, I feel like to me your lyrics are very simple, basic lyrics that make such huge impact on your listeners. So I guess my question would be, where do you mostly get inspiration for your lyrics, especially for your newest album?
Well, firstly, thank you. Like every time I have an idea, and it can be like anything, like I'm reading a book, or I watch a movie, or I see an advert on TV, or I'm just like on the tube and somebody says something, or a friend says something to me, or anything really. I just jot down ideas on my notepad, and like I have thousands of these things, and then I just go through them every now and then, and every now and then I get a really good one, and it will just spark off like a thought process. So like, for example, the most beautiful thing that I have never seen. Originally, I saw something about like some guy who like it was actually about some like weird stalker on Instagram. That was it. It was in one of the Borat films where he goes to meet Pamela Anderson. I think it's Pamela Anderson, and like he pretends to be like a crazy stalker. And I was like, that's funny, that the idea that somebody could fall in love with somebody that they've never met before. So then I had the idea, the most beautiful thing that I have never seen, and then that went in my notepad and was there for years. And then I ended up writing the song about, the idea of a true love, somebody that you've never met. So it wasn't quite as creepy as the original like source of it, but that's just like an example. Or like on my first album, when I wrote Just the Same, just the idea of someone being able to be really horrible to you and you would still love them just the same. That idea then sparks off the whole song. And the lyrics normally come before the music.
Thank you so much for that, because actually that is, personally for me, that is actually one of my favorite lyrics from you. But moving on, actually still regarding your newest album, I actually would like to know, do you have a favorite on your newest album, and so what would it be?
Favorite song on my newest album? I really love To Let a Good Thing Die, the song, and I really love, I love Regent's Park. I think Regent's Park.
That's
maybe my favorite. I think that's my favorite.
Why would you say that those two are your favorites?
I don't know. I think that Regent's Park I'm just very proud of it. Lyrically, conceptually, it's quite a an interesting one. It's an alternative ending to 101 Dalmatians, and it was, you know, posthumously co-written with George Bruns, who wrote some of the music for that film. And it's musically very interesting. To Let a Good Thing Die, you know, it's the title of the album, and it's a good finishing track. And I don't know, I love them all, though. It's a bit like being asked which one of your children is your favorite. Not that I have children, but I imagine it would be a hard question to answer.
Yeah. I'm glad that you still answered. Okay, so the next question for me, I would have to say first that, especially in Indonesia, I feel like you have such a huge growing following, and you have such a huge fan base here, and there are a lot of people who actually look up to you as a musician and for them to start their own music careers. And so I just want to ask you, would you have anything to say for anyone who looks up to you, and especially for ones who want to start their own music career?
I would say it's really important that you become good at things before you do them. You know, for my example, I started playing guitar when I was 7, and then when I was 17, I went to college and studied jazz, and then when I was 22, I started writing songs. And then when I was 25, I started to learn how to make music, produce music, and learn how to record it on computers. Do you know, it took me 20 years. It took me to become the artist that I am today. And all over that 20 years, I worked very hard to become who I am. And now I'm able to make albums myself. So I think don't rush it. You know, make sure that you have grown into the artist that you need to be before you start releasing your music.
Thank you so much for that. And so for the next question, I feel like I'd like to drive away from the album questions, and I would like to ask a little bit on what have you been doing during this quarantine? Are there any particular things that you've started because of quarantine?
Well, I went back to my parents' house for like 2 months and lived with them, and it was really nice actually, because I don't get to see my parents as much as I would like, you know, when I'm touring and I'm in the studio and stuff. So it was lovely to see them again. I honestly just like relaxed. I work very hard, and I don't get a lot of time off. So it was really lovely to have 2 whole months basically where I was just doing nothing. My album was already finished, so I didn't have to worry about that. Just reset and recharged and wrote some new songs. It was a love. I feel bad saying it because it was obviously, you know, such a terrible thing that the world's gone through, but it was quite a nice thing, a nice time for me.
So the last question for me is, do you have any song ideas during this quarantine? Are we going to be expecting something new from you, or because you just finished your album, are we going to take some time to listen to something new? Or...
Yeah, you've only just had this one. Give me a break. I'll make another album at some point, but bloody hell, not yet. I need a rest.
Okay.
Thank you, Kalia. Now let's move on to the next question. I name it as if questions. It's like a daydreaming kind of question. I'm sure you're gonna like it. If you were a superhero, what kind of superpower you'd like to have and why?
Ooh, I love this question. Okay. If I was a superhero, my power would be... Okay, I used to think about this a lot when I was a kid. So I used to say that I would want to be able to fly. But then I realized if I had telekinesis, which is the ability to move things with my mind, like the phone, then I could make myself fly, because I could just telekinesis myself and I could fly around. So that would be it, like super psychic powers that I can move objects with.
Okay. If you only had a day left to live, what would you do and why?
Ooh, if I had a day left to live, what would I do and why? Man, I'd probably just spend it with my family and my friends, and I'd probably like write everyone that I love notes, you know, to explain how I feel and stuff. But man, I don't want to. That's a horrible question. I don't want to. I don't want to be on my last day.
I see.
So my question is, if there was a biography movie about you, which character would you choose to play your role? yourself, and why?
Who would I choose to play myself?
Yes.
Well, I don't know. People keep telling me I look like Robert Downey Jr. So, I mean, I don't think I do. Yeah, let's go with Robert Downey Jr.
If you could tell anything to your 5-year-old self, what would you say to him?
I had a weird obsession with stealing when I was little. Like, I used to just steal everything, and I had like a drawer in my room. My mum would like find like credit cards and like rings and like money. So I'd probably tell him, stop stealing things. That's bad.
The next question is, if you could come back to Indonesia one day, what food would you really like to try?
You know what? I wasn't in Indonesia long enough to really check out the food because I last time I was there, I did Java Jazz. And so I literally only ate the food in the hotel. And because of the coronavirus, like we weren't really allowed to go outside. So I was really sad about that. So I can't wait to like, when I come next time, I can't wait to actually be able to like explore.
That's it from me. Thank you, Kavidia.
You're so welcome. Thank you for having me.
Any message to your Indonesian fans?
I want to say I love you very much. And I'm always blown away that you even exist because I come from so far away from where you are. And it's a great privilege to me that I can come to your beautiful country and play my songs and you actually turn up and listen. So thank you.
Okay, Kalia, any words you'd like to say to him?
I would just like to say thank you to you.
Thank you
so much.
Okay, Bruno, thank you so much for your time.
Okay, bye guys. Thank you.